Welcome back. Well, keeping our focus on the developments concerning Mr. Maina, we've got Mr. Ikeji, who is a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, speaking about legality, and we've seen several comments about the role. Perhaps they say the AGF played in all of this. What does the law require? How should they have been approached? You've been looking into this particular matter,
Absolutely.
and you read some of those cases where they say court judgment or no court judgment.
Absolutely.
So what did you come up with?
Well, what I came up with is simple, very, very simple. You don't need to be a lawyer to come up with what I came up with. Why didn't the AGF instruct EFCC to appeal? Appeal the quashing of the warrant of arrest, appeal the quashing of the dismissal as it were. Why didn't the AGF do that? Why leave it at the level of the High Court and act on it? Only for us to hear from the same office of the AGF that EFCC failed to appeal it, and therefore the man had no case to answer. So that's where, to me as a lawyer, questions should be asked.
But so now that those questions weren't asked, and we keep hearing divergent opinions of what happened, if the HOS was part of this, and she's clearly come out to say no, I was only acting on instructions. On whose table does this lie for a man to come back at such a level and getting even a promotion? Who is responsible? Who should we point fingers to?
If you follow the sequence, there was a sequence. His lawyers presented the 2 court judgments to the ministry, the Federal Civil Service Commission. They referred the letter to the office of the AGF. The office of the AGF studied the letter from the lawyers and said the man had no case to answer, and wrote back to the Federal Civil Service Commission that the man has no case to answer and that he should be reinstated. And Federal Civil Service Commission referred the man to the Ministry of Interior. A committee was set up in the Ministry of Interior to sit on his case, and the committee absolved him and said he can come in. And they wrote their own report to the Federal Civil Service Commission, who in turn re-absolved him. There was even a recommendation that he should take an exam for which he has to be promoted to the next grade level after grade level 16. Whether he took the exam or not is another question we have to ask, because he left as an assistant director, I think, and he came back as a director.
And he was promoted.
He was promoted. Did he take the exam?
And the preceding thing is you have to take that exam.
You have to take promotion exam before you're promoted. So we need, if Nigeria is a country where things work, by now, Maina should be addressing the press. He should, Maina himself, yes. He should be out there addressing the press.
The man who's wanted?
Yes, he should be addressing, that is what I'm saying. That shows that he is complicit. He has questions to answer. He should come out, address the press, and give himself over to law enforcement agencies in public glare.
Because now we don't know his whereabouts.
Because we don't know his whereabouts. So in law of evidence, for example, if you withhold evidence, if evidence is within your powers to present, and you withhold it, the presumption is that the evidence is against you.
Because the Minister for Interior, Dumbazo, has already advised Maina that you should submit yourself to the EFCC.
What we are seeing is photo shoot, screensaver, you know, paparazzi. Was Dumbazo not aware that Maina recall has been in the process, has been in the works all this while?
No, but you said he was not aware.
How can he not be aware? That is an impossibility. It is an impossibility. A director in the ministry of which you are the minister. A director. How many directors are under his ministry?
Yeah, but Mr. Keji, I mean, you also spoke about this, the senior staff committee members of the Ministry of Interior who also recommended
absolutely
that he be reinstated, because he was now reinstated Did they say 22nd of, that recommendation came on the 22nd of June.
Absolutely.
And then what if they draw their strength or argument from the position of the legal advice that they were given, saying, well, if they say the man's got no question to answer, if the highest legal office or advisory office is saying that, who are we to say something contrary?
Brilliant question. This is why we are saying that a lot of people should answer questions. In the committee itself, in the ministry itself, there are lawyers. Those lawyers also ought to have raised that question.
In the Ministry of what, Interior?
In the Ministry of Interior, with regards to the committee itself, they ought to have raised the question of the fact that there are still at least 2 levels.
So were they shielding him?
2 levels. Absolutely. He is being shielded somehow or the other.
I mean, to what end? To what end?
I don't know. I don't know. And that is the only reason why Maina himself should be the one to come on air, address Nigerians and say he is innocent or is not innocent. So long as he keeps running, we will presume that he has things to hide.
But 2 levels of what?
The point I wanted to make is that when the Attorney General referred that matter back to the Federal Civil Service Commission, and another recommendation came from the committee from the Ministry of Interior to the Federal Civil Service Commission. The AGF, it is incumbent on the AGF and a lawyer who was just called to the bar, a lawyer who is called to the bar today. In fact, you don't need to be called to the bar. As soon as you are leaving law school, as soon as you are taking your law school exams, one of the basic things that you will be taught is that there are 3 levels, excluding magistrate court, of courts of record. That means the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. So when you get any form of judgment at the High Court, it should by no means mean that you have succeeded. So the question should have been, why didn't the Attorney General, if it is not incumbent on him, this constitution actually provides that it is him who takes actions. We've not seen him enter a nolle prosequi. That is to say that it's no longer, the government is no longer interested in prosecuting Maina. Why didn't he ask that Maina, the judgments against the government be appealed against? That question, we cannot run away from that question.